Hey folks, welcome back to another episode of Middle Class Rockstar. My name is Andy Sydow. My guest this week is singer-songwriter and performer Abigayle Oakley. All right, welcome back. Happy New Year. I'm recording this in December, so it's weird saying Happy New Year at the beginning of December, but Happy New Year. I haven't written my goals yet, but I do that every year. It's something that I like to look back on, things from 2025. Maybe on the next episode, I'll do a little about that. Maybe I'll share a couple things from 2025 that I did or didn't do, and maybe a couple ideas for 26, or maybe not. I don't know. But Happy New Year. I'm excited to have Abigayle on. She's a phenomenal songwriter. I think absolute cream of the crop, and she's somebody we'll be hearing about for a lot of years. So I was excited to have her on the podcast. I think that's about it. If you like what you're hearing on this podcast, it just takes a quick second to give it a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen, and it helps out a ton. So I'd really appreciate that. And if you want to support in a monetary way, my music and this podcast, I'm on Patreon at patreon.com/Andy Sydow, SYDOW. But without further ado, let's get into the show. Here's my conversation with Abigayle Oakley. I thought when I moved to Nashville, I was going to see my friends all the time, and I kind of never see anybody.
I know. I don't want that to be true, but it's a hustle city. Everyone's touring in and out, and but we're seeing each other now. Let's keep that up. Yep.
We're seeing each other virtually from 20 minutes down the road.
So it is. That's terrible. Let's hang.
Yeah, we should hang. I like doing these over. I've been using Riverside FM for the podcast, and I like it better than in person most of the time because AI does a lot of the editing for me. It makes the 60-second clips, and it makes it so it only takes like a couple hours to get an episode ready as opposed to like 6 hours to get an episode ready, which is what it used to be. And I got really burnt out. So now it's nice doing it on here, even though we're not technically together, because so much of the work gets done for me.
Yeah, that's great. I think, COVID brought a lot of like cool platforms for virtual hangouts. Like it's as good as it's ever been. That's cool that this platform does that.
What's the mix for you? I mean, are there times, when we've co-written together, we've always done that in person. Are there times, and I have friends that like, even though we're close by, like, let's just hop on Zoom. I want to stay in my pajamas. I'm like, cool, whatever works. What's the mix for you? Do you find that you crave the in-person interaction? Are you okay with all of this?
Yeah, for chatting, I think it's great. Writing is a little different. I like showing up to a place physically. It shifts my mindset to like, okay, I got in my car and drove somewhere and we're going to write something. So I do prefer like writing in person still. There's one artist, Molly Francis. She was living in Nashville, but she moved to Brooklyn, and we were writing a lot of songs together. So she's like right now my one person that I'll write on FaceTime with. And it helps that we've like written a lot together. So like there's no awkwardness with the delay. Like I kind of know her well enough to be like, okay, I know what she's thinking. I know what she's doing over there. And that's kind of my mix, mostly in person, but one FaceTime call.
Yeah. So Abigayle Oakley is a relatively new thing. I know when we first met, you were going by Abigayle Kompst, and I believe it was the rooftop of some place for the Whitefish Songwriter Festival, right? Maybe.
Where we met?
Yeah, didn't we play there? I think that's where it was. That
sounds right. I'm trying to remember. Were you moving to Nashville or like thinking about moving, or had you already?
I think we were had just moved a couple months ago or something, or we're about to move. It was, I don't know. It was something like that.
Yeah, like 2-3 years ago now.
Yeah, and I remember you were introduced as Abigayle Kompst. It was a mistake, and you took it with grace. You didn't correct anybody. You were just, and you had every right to, but you were just like, okay. And but you were Abigayle Kompst at the time, and now you go by Abigayle Oakley. Was that sort of why, or was that a big decision?
It was a huge existential crisis around this time last year. I'd always kind of wondered what it would be like to have a different artist name, and an artist, Forrest Black. Do you know him? He lives in Nashville, but he kind of has been mentoring me a little bit. One day we had a coffee meeting, and he was like, have you ever thought about changing your name? And that was kind of the moment. That was the first time that I'd heard anyone else say it, even though I'd been thinking about it.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I need to figure out what that could be. And that was several months of waking up in the middle of the night. There was one time where I thought I was going to go by Abigail Almond. I was just going crazy, insane, picking every word or name that I thought was interesting. And it was 1:00 in the morning, and I was like, Abigail Almond, that's it. That's the name. And when I looked at my notes app the next morning where I'd written this down, I just started laughing. That could not be the name. So it was a journey for sure, but I don't regret it at all. No one's been like, oh, why'd you change it from Kompst? That was such a it rolls off the tongue,
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you tried a bunch of different names and I could see the existential crisis, because if you picked the wrong one, if you had gone with Almond and switched all your socials and your Spotify, and then all of a sudden you're like, I don't even like almond milk or whatever, that could be tricky. Has there been any when you hit Oakley, was it that's it, or did it take some mulling around?
There was a that's it moment, and it was kind of cool because it didn't feel like it came from my brain. I feel like I was really just trying to listen and meditate on it, and that name came through. So that was kind of exciting. But then with anything, I sat and thought about it for a long time before I actually made it public or switched any of the digital stuff.
And was it difficult switching the digital stuff? I know you re-released Recovering Optimist that you put out in 2023 initially. Was that part of the strategy, remastering that?
Yeah, exactly. It was pretty easy on every platform, with the exception of Apple Music. With love, I use Apple Music. But they're the one platform that won't allow you to keep your old music up. So that was the whole reason I remastered a project, was so I could move that over to the new name. Otherwise, I would have had to just start from scratch on just that platform.
And to get into the weeds a little bit, because I'm curious, did you do a new ISRC code for all the songs, and were you able to re-pitch them to Spotify playlists because you remastered?
Yes. Yeah, they're all new ISRC codes. I didn't end up pitching anything, although I should have. Maybe I did. Yeah, it's almost a year ago now. But yeah, there was a little bit of gray area. I wasn't sure if it was going to work, honestly, because if you remaster something, the sound is only so different. And I think, I don't know, metadata is really important, and it kind of stresses me out. So there are some times when I get a play, you know how they send you a weekly report of this is how many listens you had this week on Apple Music. There are times where it still comes through as Kompst. So I imagine if there was I'm doing this independently, but I feel if I had a contact at Apple Music, it would have been much easier because I kind of just had to find the loophole and email DistroKid endlessly to be like, if I do this, is this going to be fine? And they're like, mostly yes, probably, but I don't really know.
Yeah. Well, and I was just curious because I've had so much trouble with trying to re-release things and change a little thing, and it's hard to know. Some of the questions are not answered in the FAQs, so I get information where I can.
I mean, I looked for YouTube videos and Reddit posts, and it seems that it's not talked about anywhere that I found. So.
How do you do this if you're an indie artist? Nobody knows.
I don't know. I think I had to get comfortable with, like, if this doesn't work, I will figure it out. But I feel that I always have needed a path that I like, or a plan that I know will work. And with this, I just kind of had to try it and be okay if it failed. Like, if it all got messed up, I would fix it afterward. But there was a while where I was waiting to, like, have the answer, and the answer never came.
So something really exciting just happened just within the last few days, right? You got engaged.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you.
So, I mean, what happened? Tell us the story as much as you can, or as much as you want to.
Yeah, I'm engaged to a wonderful guy. His name's Tom Davis. He's a great bass player. We met 5.5 years ago in school, basically through mutual friends. And yeah, it was only a matter of time, I guess. So we're engaged. We were on a hike in British Columbia when he proposed. It was very sweet, and I'm very excited about it. I've never been engaged before.
Was there hopefully it's your last time.
Yeah.
Was there family and friends, or was it just the two of you?
It was just the two of us. We had seen my parents. They live in Montana, like 2 hours from where we drove up, and kind of took a day trip. So they were being very normal. Like, I was very impressed because my family knew, and they're like, okay, bye, have fun in Canada. And I was so surprised because I was expecting there to be, like, more anxiety in the air from my family and from Tom, but everyone was really chill, and yeah, I was very surprised.
Now, is it, I've met your parents a couple times, but was it like an old school situation where Tom had to go, like, ask your dad for permission, or did he just say, hey, I bought a ring and I'm doing this thing?
My parents are very casual with everything, but I think it's so sweet that Tom did, like, ask for their permission, and that meant a lot to me. And it meant a lot to my parents too, because they weren't expecting that. Like, so
sounds like a quality guy.
He's very quality. Yeah. Yes.
So going back a lot a bit, you grew up, I think you told me you grew up in Vegas. Is that right?
That's right.
How long, was that your whole childhood?
Yeah, we moved there when I was 4, and I graduated high school from there and moved to Nashville when I was 18. So big chunk of my childhood was there.
I associate Vegas, as everyone does, with, like blackjack and blackouts.
Yeah.
What was it like growing up there? Because I mean, you know this, when you meet somebody and you say you're from Nashville and they say, oh, I've been to Nashville, it was a great time. They just went down to Broadway and hung out all night. And there's so much more to Nashville than that. I think Vegas has that sort of a thing to another extent of it's just associated with this one thing. What was it like living there?
Well, my mom was a showgirl, if you count Menopause the Musical at the Luxor.
Wow.
She played, have you heard of the show Menopause? It seems like you're the target demographic for the show. No. It's like a musical parody comedy. So that was her a job for like a long time that we were there. And then my dad is an IT guy, so he worked in gaming. So things were like Vegas centric for the industries there. But there's a lot more than just that. Like I was in community theater with the Rainbow Company Youth Theater. There's great hiking, Red Rock Canyon. And then I went to a performing arts high school that was really did a lot for me. I studied classical guitar. So,
Wow.
mm-hmm.
So at what age did you get started with playing guitar?
They had an elective program in the 6th grade. So that's when I started. Is that like 11, 12 years
Ish,
old?
yeah, I think so.
Uh-huh.
Sounds right.
Oh, long ago. Yeah, when did you start playing? You're a great player. I enjoy watching you.
Well, thanks. I started piano very young and then guitar kind of like in high school. But yeah, my parents had me in piano lessons in 3rd or 4th grade, I think. And then
Yeah.
before that, my mom was writing fingerings underneath notes so that I could play.
So does she play as well?
Yes, she plays some piano. My dad plays some guitar and now some piano as well. So we have we always had instruments around the house growing up, which is, I don't know,
Yeah.
which is pretty neat.
Yeah, it is neat. And I think it's the same way for me. And I don't know why I just assumed that everyone had that. And other families have different things that are like staples of your childhood. But I am kind of like all the pieces fit together. It makes sense that we became songwriters, I guess. It's no accident.
Yeah, well, being immersed in something at a young age, I think goes a long way. But like, so in your family, was it really important that you were in music, or was there just instruments around and it was like, hey, if you pick one up, great? What was the dynamic?
I mean, my mom would always joke, like, don't go into showbiz, it'll tear you apart. And, jokingly, she's not that serious. We're all goofballs. But then, yeah, we were just around it so much that it's like, I don't know what else there is. I kind of assumed that I would find an interest that wasn't music. Like I wanted to be a lawyer or like a doctor or something because that's like I don't know that's the good card in the game of life. Like
Yeah.
you want the lawyer card with the salary or whatever. But yeah, we went on a few tours as a family. Like my mom has a one-woman show, so I would run props, and my brother would run the light board, which is what he does now. Like he's in film and TV and operates the probably a more advanced light board than he did when he was 11. But
Yeah.
we're both kind of doing the same stuff that we were when we were kids, which I think is kind of fun.
Describe the one-woman show and the tours. What was that like?
It's called Blame It on the Walleye, The Journey Through the Neurotic Mind of a Norwegian Blonde. And it's a lot of Midwest humor. My mom grew up in Minnesota. So it's really funny. She does parodies. There's like a lot of Vegas storytelling too. And yeah, I feel like I'm just now realizing that how that has influenced my ability to just like get on the road independently. Like we got in the car as a family and like drove to Minnesota and set up in theaters, and it's like, okay, I am doing the same thing that I was when I was 10, but now it's my own music. And
That's really neat. How much time did you guys spend on the road?
not a ton. We only did one major major as in like we drove to Wyoming, which was really far. But it was like I think a week long of shows and then several pop-ups in Vegas.
Do you think you'll ever work with your brother in a professional capacity again as adults? Or have you?
He's done a few videos for me, and we're talking about doing more. Yeah, he's so busy though. We're both hard to pin down, but I'd love to. He's really talented with video stuff. And yeah, we did a music video for my song Recovering Optimist.
That's
That was the
and
last thing.
he did the video and did all the editing and stuff.
Yeah, I think he definitely filmed it. I don't remember. I think his friend edited it. Another, like a college friend or something.
That's cool to keep it in the family, though.
Yeah, yeah.
So, 18 years old, you graduated high school and then moved to Nashville, and you've been in Nashville ever since, right?
Right.
Was it Belmont?
Yes, I went to Belmont, graduated with a degree in songwriting, and that was in 2022. So,
My brother-in-law just graduated last May, and he did commercial piano, I think it was called, but
yeah.
same school. What was the Belmont thing like for you? I mean, there's so many. It's a huge music program. It's one of the top 3 or 5 that everyone talks about in the country.
Yeah, I had a great experience. I've always loved school. Like, I just liked getting good grades for whatever reason, and like really always did my homework. And I never. It was so nice to have that focus turned to songwriting. I think it gave me permission to be studious about something that is creative and is something that I'm passionate about. But I applied looking for music business programs again because I wanted like a steady, stable job, and then got into their songwriting program, and just that kind of led me down the path that I'm on. But it got me writing a lot, and gave me a practice of just like studying songs, which I still love to do.
Well, you're a great writer, and something that I think your writing does very, very well is that uh, we know what the song is about as the listener, yet you're saying things in a different way than I've heard it a cajillion times before, which is really refreshing, and I think hard to
Thank you.
do. But you do it really well. Is there, if you had to give a tip, is it all in the repetition of just writing every day? Was there a philosophy that was given to you in school that you just thought was, a great takeaway?
Um, First of all, thank you. That's very kind. Um, I think that maybe a few things. Like I when I was getting ready to graduate, I committed myself to writing 100 songs a year. So I did that for about really until last year. This year I kind of looked at my goals and decided that okay, maybe I don't want to write 100 songs this year. I just want to write a smaller number of like really quality things, because when you write 100 songs a year, they're like most of them are not good. But um I think that helped me, like in that time, was just repetition for sure. And yeah, I taught at a songwriting workshop in Michigan last year, and I put together kind of a crash course of Belmont. And yeah, one of the things is like I can hear one of my professors saying it is dare to suck. So like dare to just get the bad songs out, and like don't be afraid of sitting in the writing space and nothing exciting comes out. Like that's not my favorite kind of writing to do, but it is like you just have to show up to the page, and whatever comes out is what comes out. And I really, are you familiar with The Artist's Way, that book?
Oh, yeah, and I don't remember anything about it. It's been a long time.
Well, that's perfect, because then I'll tell you exactly what kind of goes down. Is there's a this idea that the ideas don't come from you; they're in the walls. That I think it's a Greek philosophy. Like a genius isn't a person; it's an energy that kind of like sits in the corner and waits for you to be serious about your craft, and then it'll come and like give you something good. So I really love that concept, because it takes the the pressure way off of us as creatives to like create something mind-blowing or whatever. It's just like you literally just show up and listen. So
Yeah.
I try to do that.
Well, I know, after I write a draft of something, sometimes I'll spend a lot of time editing. If it's a song that I like care about, sometimes I forget it the next day and never look at it again. But sometimes I'll like come back and edit and keep reworking lines. And I'll get some great lines that way. But I always look back and I think some of the best lines are the ones that at some point in the process just sort of popped out, and I look back at it and I'm like, that was a cool line. Where did that I didn't come up with that. But I did, I guess. I don't know. It came
Yeah,
out of my mouth.
exactly. I mean, sometimes I'll like listen back to demos and be like, I definitely didn't write this. Like, there's no way that the brain could come up with that. Like, there's something outside of us, which I think like that's the only way I can explain it.
Mm. What's your ratio of co-writes to solo writes?
Right now I'm in a big solo writing phase. I think something about the coziness of winter is like I just want to stay in my house. But and I mostly am co-writing for other people's artist projects. But I've been on the road a lot this year. I haven't co-written like anywhere close to what I had been doing last year. So, I don't know, maybe 50-50. Like if I look at a project that I release, like about half of them are solo writes and half of them are co-writes.
Is the dynamic, well, I guess probably, of course it's different. How is the dynamic different? Did you get something out of both of them?
Yeah, I really like I feel like solo writes take me a lot longer, and it'll usually be several sessions, but with a co-writer, you can kind of get that instant feedback of like, oh, does this line make sense to you? Like if there's another person in the room, you get that immediate feedback. I'm trying to think. It's been so long since I've written with a co-writer for my own project. So definitely the dynamic of co-writing for another artist is like, I feel that I throw more ideas out in a co-write for another artist because there's no like wrong lines, but you're trying to find what fits their taste and what they want to say. So, that's what I love writing with my friend Molly, because she's very opinionated and like knows exactly what she would say and what she wouldn't. So then I can say like 4 options for one line, and she'll be like, I like this, but not this word. So I feel like I'm a spewer in co-writing situations, and then the artist can kind of be like the editor.
So when you're writing you do co-writes for other people's artist projects a lot, but when you're writing for your own records, those are usually solo writes?
I still do co-writing for my artist project, but yeah.
I guess it allows you to be specific about, exactly what you want to hear when you're the artist.
Totally.
We chatted, it's probably been a couple years now, when we were doing a co-write once, and you were not sure if you saw yourself as heavily pursuing an artist career, or if you just wanted to be a writer. And it seems like, from everything that you're posting and putting up and stuff, that you are interested in that artist side in a big way as well. Has anything changed for you in the last couple years?
Yeah, I think honestly, like seeing the real world of streaming and like making a living as a musician has changed that interest a little bit. I kind of, maybe it was through school, but I had this idea that like songwriting could be what funded my artist career, like mailbox money, I thought that was like, okay, let me write with as many people as I can and have all these little song babies going off and having lives and getting big cuts and stuff. 3.5 years post graduation, I'm kind of seeing that I mean, the royalty statement from BMI is like not proving that that's the way to do it. Like, I think you need number one hits to make money as a songwriter. That's not to say that I won't write for artist projects just because like the money doesn't make sense. I still love being a part of different genres and songs, but it's made me look at like I should do exactly what feels creatively fulfilling, and also like I can support myself with a brand that is an artist brand. So still figuring that out, but I feel like my perspective on the industry has changed a little bit, and this like fever dream I had of I guess like doing the sensible thing, which would be like getting a pub deal and like stable income. It's like even that isn't the answer.
Yeah.
Nothing is the answer, and yet everything is. Like, you can kind of make your own patchwork quilt of like independent artistry. Did that answer your question? I feel like I've
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, just doing a bunch of different things. Everyone's kind of seems to be piecemealing their music career, and that's kind of cool, you know?
It's really cool. Yeah.
In terms of content, this kind of leads me into that, because you are putting out a lot of content where you're making videos for your songs and stuff, which is something that you see artists doing, or either doing or doing begrudgingly, or not doing and talking about how much they hate it. But you're doing a lot of stuff. What's your take on the balance and the social media content?
Yeah. I've been thinking about this a lot this week because my screen time has been bad because my fiance's out of town, so there's no one to like impress. So I've just been on my phone a lot. But so it's kind of, I just had the thought like this time next year, I don't want to be thinking about Instagram as much as I do, because that's kind of what it takes. Is like the last 3 months I've actually had a content schedule, and like 3 times a week I'm posting a reel, and so I've kind of seen what that consistency does, and it definitely, it gets you more followers, and it makes people think you're like doing a lot, even if you're just have like a backlog of content and you're posting it from your couch. Like, so it's good for those things, but it is kind of it's consuming, and I feel like it's just it's a blessing and a curse. Like, it can bring opportunity your way, but I really have to be careful with it, because it can become like a numbers game, and that's not me. Like, I just want to make the music, but at the same time I want to give it like the opportunity to reach people. So.
And are you focusing in on Instagram? I mean, are you posting on TikTok and Facebook and YouTube and stuff? I post on all the things, but I consume on Instagram. So when I see your stuff, it's always on Instagram.
I use Instagram mostly, and the only other thing that I put a lot of attention, pour a lot of time into, is Substack. I really am digging that platform. It feels like slower consumption, and as an artist, it feels like I'm building a portfolio of, like, even if no one is looking at it, it feels like a yearbook of the songs that I'm writing, and I try to post writing prompts as well, so it's like a really collaborative creative space.
That's great. I know a lot of people are using Substack. I've not gotten on it. And what about your schedule? You're saying you've been posting on a schedule the last 3 months. Do you use like a third party to help post things? or I mean, how is that schedule work specifically?
I use Canva, like the whiteboard feature. You can kind of make a web of like, I have sticky notes that are little hook ideas, and I mean, pretty much just like 3 reels a week. So that's been one way to like get it off of my brain. As if I just have a plan, then I'll like clock in to the plan when it's time to post, and then versus the way I was doing it before, where I was like, I need to post 3 times a week. What is that going to be? And then I'm just thinking about it all the time. So that this is a space where I have like a graph that is like Monday, post this, Tuesday, do this. So it's just like a DIY web of to-dos.
I've got to check that. I've got to check out that feature because I just have sticky notes and whiteboards all over my studio, and I think I need like a sticky note for my sticky notes. So I've got to check that out.
It's the same thing. I mean, there's something to like having the tangible sticky note too that's very satisfying.
Yes, but it's messy. It's everywhere. It takes
Such is life.
Sometimes it takes away from the organization.
Maybe so.
What about AI? How far that has come, and maybe what it's doing good and bad for the music industry. Do you use that at all? Do you embrace any of those tools, or are you pretty old school?
Sometimes I'll run an email through ChatGPT because emails stress me out a little bit. Like it's just like a writing exercise. I'm like, how is this person going to receive this? So the ChatGPT helps with that a lot. But yeah, I never use it for writing. Really, I don't feel threatened by it. The AI stuff that's happening. Like I'm sure you saw that there's like labels who are giving AI permission to like make songs based off of their roster of artists and songs. That really sucks. But I think at least the people who like independent artists and music like are like it for that reason. So the pendulum will come back. It is frustrating to see like, there's only a certain amount of time in the day, and so if people are like curious about AI songs and they're like that's what they're listening to, it's like that's taking away from time where you could be listening to Andy Sydow and like real artists, real people with real stories. So that makes me a little sad. But
it's an interesting thing. It can do a lot of things, and it's kind of nuts. But yeah, and hopefully maybe it brings rise to live music even more. I don't know. But it's an interesting thing, and I think Warner is the big one that just had a deal with Suno, but the artists have to opt in, I think. But I don't know. I don't know the details of it. It might be pure evil. I just read about this the other day briefly.
Yeah.
Are you a lot of our friends, I'm sure you've seen, are pulling their music off of Spotify. Have you thought about that? Or are you just stream it where you want?
A few months ago, I was talking to my friend Michael at Mad Records. He's the one who told me to get onto Substack, and he releases his music only on Substack. And we had talked about like maybe I would release my next EP only on Substack. That's what he ultimately ended up deciding to do. And like, if you're interested in that, I highly recommend looking at what he's doing on Substack. But for better or worse, like Spotify still is a great discoverability tool. As a small artist, I feel like I didn't want to count myself out of that. Like that Instagram is the same evil, really. Like it's a discoverability tool. And if it means like 10 more people add a song to my playlist versus not hearing about it at all, I think I'm still interested in like connecting with people through these platforms.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, you were recently a New Folk winner, Kerrville Folk Festival song contest. It's a big deal in the folk singer-songwriter community. It's maybe the biggest songwriter competition in that circle. Um, and you were one of the 6 winners this year. And didn't you just do the tour, the winners tour?
Yeah, that was right before Thanksgiving. It was so awesome. I felt like they really just surrounded us with support, and like I feel like they're like, this is the next generation of folk artists, and I've never like felt support like the way that Kerrville supported us. They got us a van and like booked us all these awesome shows and promoted it, and I just connected with so many new people, and yeah, really grateful for that opportunity.
How was the weather in Kerrville, Texas when you were there?
Well, for the festival, it was really, really hot, and I missed all of the storms. They had really severe storms, um, which is so freaky. Like people who camp at Kerrville are no joke. Like 18 days they camp out there and like build kitchens and like living rooms out in the desert on this ranch. Um, but just recently when I was there in November, it was like 80, 90-degree Texas fall.
Mm. Well, 80 is not too bad. I suppose I was a finalist in 21 and 23, and yeah, there was times it just got very, very hot where you couldn't even be in your tent. It was like worse in your tent
Yeah.
than outside.
The thing that saved me was I got like a battery powered fan. So when I was sleeping at night, I would just like blast that on my face, and like that's the only way I could sleep in the tent. It was very hot. But
Do you have the desire to do more of those types of things, like more song contests, or are you retired?
I'm retired. I would love to do Telluride, the Troubadour contest. That would be really cool. Um, yeah, Folks Fest. Yeah, I'm still. It's a wonderful way to meet people who are out there. Like, I mean, the other songwriters that you meet. That's like the best part of these contests. Like contests are still so weird to me. But it's like the people I just went on tour with are gonna be pals for life. Like it's just it's funny how you like run into the same people at all of the festivals too. Like it's the same
Yeah.
25 song. I mean, yeah, you and I have run into each other a bunch out there. We've seen each other more at festivals than we do in the town that we both live in.
Right. Yeah.
So,
What's next? Do you have like an EP in the can ready to come out, or what's happening next year?
yeah, the EP is coming out next year. I made it with Anthony DaCosta.
Oh, quick correction that I just thought of. Probably when this comes out, the EP will be out this year. This is being recorded end of 2025. It'll come out beginning of 2026. For the listeners, it's not
Cool.
2027 next year. It's right now, 2026.
Awesome. That's good. That's good to know. Well, I released a song today, actually.
Matador.
Matador, yeah. So hopefully by the time you listen to this, it'll be a #1 hit at my mom's house or something. But and I'm releasing some more music in January, and going on tour in Alberta, Canada in February, because I love to be cold. It's far
What
north.
is that with other folks, or is that a solo tour?
It's mostly with Jed and the Valentine. They were featured on a song I put out called Hazel-Eyed Lover in Patagonia. We're friends through John Hewitt, which you might know him from Whitefish. He's been very kind in booking me in his neighborhood of like Edmonton, Calgary, Canada area.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So the stuff with Anthony DaCosta, I know he's worked with a lot of folks, and has played guitar with a bunch of people. I think I first heard of him when he was playing guitar with Sonny War, maybe. If I
Yeah.
don't know. But that's somebody I've not met but would like to, and maybe I'll just randomly hit him up on Instagram someday. But he's got a really cool thing going. Was that done like at his studio?
Yeah, Pleasantville Recordings is his space. And do you know Robbie Hecht?
Oh,
You should know
I
Robbie.
I think so. That name sounds familiar, and I feel bad. I'm gonna have to look up a picture.
No, yeah, I mean, he did his record, and Robbie's a good friend of mine, and I was like, do you think Anthony would want to mix some of my songs? And so that's kind of how we connected. But yeah, I love everything that Anthony works on, and he's got his hands in a bunch of different folky projects that I'm just a fan, and he's like a mad scientist in the studio, just like turning all the knobs and lots of synthesizers and cool sounds. So I'm excited for all that to come out.
Was there anything you picked up in the studio as far as like, oh, I'm gonna steal that trick on whatever I do next?
Ooh, that's a good question. Yeah, I really like that we tracked bass, drums, and most of the acoustic guitars simultaneously. Vocals too, but the only like live vocal that we kept was for press 3. Everything else was overdubbed. But having just that foundation of the instruments all playing together, I think kind of gives it a live feel, but we were still able to like layer stuff on top of it. And I also really appreciate Anthony's, like, the word that comes to mind is fearlessness, but he just like plays a lot of ideas, and then we like edit it from there. And I think I'm in my production era myself, self-production, and I feel like I've been so scared of it for a long time, but after working with Anthony, I just like, he has this freedom of expression that has made me like a little less afraid to kind of like try some weirder things, and you can always mute it later. So that was
Yeah.
really a valuable part of that process.
Yeah. Oh, that's really neat. Well, I'm excited to hear the rest of the songs. Hazel-Eyed Lover in Patagonia came out on August 1st, and Press 3, I don't remember the release date on that one.
Sometime in September. I
Yeah.
don't know either, but
Also recently, of last year.
of yes.
Well,
So long ago.
so
last
long
year.
ago. Did we leave anything out?
No, I don't think so. You asked great questions, and I hope I didn't yap too much. I don't even know what I've said for the past 48 minutes, but
You'll find out in a few weeks.
Awesome.
This was great. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, that was my conversation with Abigayle Oakley. Thanks for listening. Again, give this podcast 5-star rating and review wherever you're listening. It just takes a second and it helps out a bunch. And I appreciate you listening. Thanks for being a part of this. And we'll chat with you again soon. I'm tired.